of Education in order. Would you guys please join me in the pledge to the flag? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I do not believe we have any special recognition tonight. However, we do have public participation. Ms. Coggin?
Public participation is the time that the board has set aside to encourage you as members of our community to voice your opinion on any matter, either included on or excluded from the printed agenda. A maximum time of 5 minutes will be allotted to a single individual or a single topic based on the number of requests. Complaints against any employee of the school system will not be heard unless the complaint has been submitted in writing to the superintendent at least 7 days prior to the board meeting. If unresolved, any personal complaints about the school personnel must be put in writing for the board to review in executive session. Personal attacks against any member of the board will not be tolerated. Once the time for public participation has passed, discussion of topics will be restricted to board members only. Thank you in advance for complying with this request. And we have one person that has, wishes to speak to us tonight, Mr. Johnny Stone. You're welcome to come up here to the microphone.
Try and keep it short. Do y'all know what the carry system is in math? Anybody don't know what it is?
Know what?
Carry system in math, where the number's more than 10, you put your little mark and go to the next one.
No.
Do y'all know what that is?
Yes.
Is there any of y'all that wasn't taught that?
That was 4 decades ago. I don't really remember.
Yeah. Well, I'm a
I
lot
can do a
older.
little bit of math.
Y'all are a lot younger than I am. But when I've got a granddaughter that goes to Flint Hill Elementary. When she comes home and she sits down and they've taught her to make all these little X's and circles and blocks to get her answer in math. Well, it's good to know your digits, but you need the carry system when the math gets complicated. They haven't taught that at Flint Hill for 4 years. Now, she did get one paper from a teacher from a website, Super Teacher Worksheet, that has a carry system on it. But you can't not teach math without using the carry system. And ever who made this math book up does not know. Math is supposed to be, if you do it step by step, you get the right answer. And it makes you think, it makes you be organized to get to where you want to get to. This page here shows you the little box and things, and it shows the carry system, which they say they don't teach. This page here, has anybody ever solved a subtraction problem left to right? Why would you have a kid try to learn to solve subtraction left to right instead of right to left, like we were taught? Here's a page of subtraction that uses the carry system. When you get to subtraction, if you don't use the carry system, you're going to be lost. You got to do something. They skipped that page. They went on to multiplication. In this entire book, they wait to the very last page in this book to tell you there's such a thing as a decimal point. This is not right. I mean, we're number 48 in the country. You keep teaching kids like this, it's going to be just like it is. I have a grandkid that's in Cousins come home today and said, guess what? They're going to let us use a calculator now. I can see why, because they didn't learn their basic math at Flint Hill.
Mm-hmm.
The other exception I have, if she comes home and she's got 20 spelling words to learn on this side, okay? Over here, she's got 5 vocabulary words to learn. She don't have to spell these. She don't even have to know what these even mean, or that they're a verb or adverb or adjective. All she's got to do is learn how to spell them. And why don't you just do away with these 5 and have them teach them like something like we used to have? You get a spelling word, what its purpose is, and use it in a sentence. Why don't they do that? Why would you want a kid to not know what the word means, just know how to spell it? And then know what some words mean, but you're not required to spell it. Now, I know those teachers work hard over there. And I talked to Miss Woodall at the Georgia mathematics department, and she says there's nothing wrong with teaching the carry system. And I strongly recommend that y'all take a look at it and go back to the carry system at Flint Hill Elementary. The other thing is that there was one course that I took in high school that it did not matter if you could spell, did not matter if you knew math, that you just had to think and use logic to get from one point to the next point. And y'all probably had it. It was plane geometry. Y'all have took plane geometry at Eastside Elementary and turned it into a math. And they don't learn the theorems. Take a point, 2 lines, and go from there and make you use your mind.
Madam Chair, can I ask?
I wish y'all would look into it, because the way y'all are going, you might as well give second graders calculators and tell them this is the way you do math, that you don't need to learn.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what grade is your granddaughter at?
3rd grade.
3rd? Okay.
I got 1 in 3rd, 1 in 4th.
I have a daughter in 3rd also.
Yeah. Does she learn the carry system?
Yes,
Well, they're not teaching it to these.
she has. That's why I asked. I thought that was the same book.
Yeah. But I never seen a math problem you go from subtraction teaching you to go from the left to the right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stone, for your concerns. Okay. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent's report, first the operations financial report. Ms. Bullard?
Good evening. Our SPOS collection, this was the August collection, $930,999. The last few months, it's been over $900,000, which is great news, as the whole SPOS has averaged $877,000. We have 4 months left in this SPOS, and our TAVT collection was $71,610. The fiscal year 14 is closed, and the beginning fund balance is the final for ending for 14, beginning for 15. We now have our expenditures accrued into the financial statement and the QBE revenues, and we are within budget with 24.05 spent and 25% of the years completed. And we've also gotten several large deposits from the tax office, even though the taxes aren't due till October, so that's good news. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bullard. Operations,
Yes, Madam Chair, operations report, just a few things to highlight. In maintenance and operations, maintenance received 1,259 work requests in September, and there are currently 244 of those work orders still remaining. I'd like to draw your attention to school nutrition, item number 4. the Newton County School Nutrition Program was recognized with the Golden Radish Award, a prestigious statewide farm-to-school distinction, which acknowledges the outstanding leadership of school representatives building comprehensive farm-to-school programs. The school district was one of 30 honored at the state capitol for this extraordinary work. Newton County School System was recognized at the honorary level for their accomplishments during the last school year, which include the district featured local food 10 times in school meals. Local food was promoted by displaying colorful nutrition flyers during the week when locally grown produce is served. So if you don't mind, I'd like to give a round of applause to Ms. Jan Loomis, the SOE for that outstanding work. And in keeping with the theme, in item number 5, school nutrition featured local peaches on lunch menus in September. One other item we'd like to bring to, I also would like to let you know that this is National School Lunch Week, and this year's theme is Get in the Game with School Lunch. And so if you get a chance to go by the cafeterias, you're gonna see a lot of exciting festivity going on throughout the school system this week. Another item I wanna bring to your attention in student transportation. The average per gallon cost for diesel fuel purchase during September was $3.18. In September 13, the cost was $3.42. So with that being said, are there any other questions about the operations report at this time? We have Mr. Mike Barr. He's going to come forth at this time, and he's going to talk to you about print management.
The Golden Radish Award is hard to follow, but I'm going to try. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Tonight, I do have a presentation for you. It's regarding print management. And first, I'd like to give you a little background information relative to print management in the Newton County school system. I'm going to start back in 1972, and we're going to work our way through to 2014. I just want everybody to have a full understanding of the process. Fortunately for all of us, that really goes on one slide because the process has not changed in about 40 years. The school submits a copy request form. It goes into the interoffice mail, into a van, over to the copy center at the board office, back in the van, and then out to the school. That's been our process for about 41 or 42 years now. I've got this slide up because this has really become a guiding principle through this process. And this is something that Mr. Craver picked up at a conference, and you cannot have a 21st century school district with 20th century processes. So we really took that and let that guide our work through this. So accordingly, the overarching goal of this proposal is to leverage technology to better support instruction. And that solution involves an agreement with RICO that really leverages technology to create a better print management process for the school system. The solution that we're recommending includes the following: copy center and print management software, copier print device pricing agreement, copier print device maintenance agreement, print management software for all print devices, print management education and training program, and an environmentally preferable program for recycling, toner, and machine manufacturing. The rollout is in 2 phases. Phase 1 is what we're looking at for this year, fiscal year, and that focuses on establishing the copy center and getting it running, doing some back file scanning for curriculum and instruction and human resources, and really an education piece so everybody understands the program and knows the direction that we're headed in. Phase 2, one of the major components of Phase 2 is to reduce and right-size the copier and printer fleet. And that's a huge piece of it because the more copies that we send to the central copy center, it reduces the need for lots of leases in the schools. So we think that would be very beneficial moving forward. The program goals, in summary, are to consolidate the aggregate spend of copy and print within the school system, reduce the spend per copy, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second, reduce and right-size the fleet, as we've mentioned, centralize copier and multifunction device acquisitions, streamline the ordering payment process, develop and maintain real-time data, enhance the level of service, and develop a true cost per copy program. And we'll be able to do that through consolidating all of the print management processes. Program costs are approximately $9,000 a month. This is actually less than current expenditures and includes a greater range of deliverables and benefits that will in the future reduce cost. So just as a snapshot, right now the solution that we've recommended will cut cost by 50% for schools now utilizing the central office copy center, so that's an immediate savings. They will also save approximately 68% by sending their work to the copy center rather than printing it at the school. Benefits, in summary, a fully functional copy center capable of supplying nearly all of the school system print needs, a 1 to 2 day turnaround time, a web-based submission process, work for jobs, also allows educators to maximize classroom time, reduces school expenditures. The program will also be aligned and usable by the students at the Career Academy so that they have access to training opportunities in the latest technology. Overall, this is a program that we think will better support our teachers and save the school district money. And that concludes. And we have an item later in the agenda relative to this.
Thank you, Mr. Barr.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna do the operations item A all together. Can I have a motion to move item A of the operations report forward?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right, it's been moved and properly second. Floor is now open for discussion, if all is in favor. No discussion? Okay. All in favor? Okay, any opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, item B, Dr. Lockhart, you're back up.
Madam Chair, if you don't mind, I'd like to give you the enrollment report first.
Okay,
And with the enrollment report, as of October 2014, we have 19,650 students to date. This time last year, 19,499, so that's an increase of 151 students from this year compared to last. With the CIT report, we have the CIT report here available for your review. If you have any questions about the report, I'd be more than happy to entertain them at this time along with my team. If there are no questions, I can go ahead and introduce our first presenter.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You may not have the information now, but I had asked, do we have any means of being able to give a number of students who are transit students that's coming into our system each year, that are new students, and the ones who are leaving our system? Do we have a means of doing that?
We may be able to do that through reporting with our Infinite Campus program. I will look into that for you and try to get you some information on those coming in and going out.
And the reason I'm asking this question, I think it's very important because with different discussions that we've had about our test scoring.
Yes, sir.
And if we have a large number of students coming into our system and we have no earthly idea where they are as far as their test scores and what have you, that can definitely have an effect upon our scores who have permanent students that's here in our system. So I think that's very important information for us to have.
Well said, sir. One other document that we would want to share with you would be information regarding our mobility rate. We find that when mobility rate is 30% or higher within a school, it does impact that school, so we can get you some information on that, so that will be one piece of data for you to be able to look at from a school-to-school perspective, but also we'll just try to see if we can get you some more information, some harder numbers with the Infinite Campus reports.
Great, thank you.
Are there any other questions in regards to the CIT report? Madam Chair, if you are ready, I can go ahead and present our next presenter.
That's fine.
Okay. Here we have from the Newton County Community Partnership, Ms. Laura Bertram. She's going to speak to you briefly about an exciting opportunity that we'll be able to share with her and the rest of the community. Ms. Bertram.
Thank you. I did send a PowerPoint, but I don't know that if it got here in time, but it's all right. Oh, you didn't see it? It came late, about 3:34. So it's all right, because there are only 5 slides. And I really want to thank first that we already have some people who are aware of what the partnership is doing. And Chief Turner, I'm going to say that you've been with the board for a short period of time, I think 8 to 12 years. And Shaquila is a baby with the board, being there only 2 years. And I thank you so much for your work. And Dina Sams, who was a Family Connection Coordinator before she got this job with Newton County, and we're so grateful that she has that, institutional knowledge about what we try to do in the community. So I thank you all for being here and being part of what we do. I want to say that I'm here because the partnership actually founded in 1989 because of the concern of a group of school personnel at the high teen pregnancy rate. And they got together with other leaders, included, which was then just Attorney Judge Johnson, and they started a teen pregnancy prevention collaborative. And that was because we were a rural community. Most of our girls who got pregnant ended up marrying the young men who made them pregnant, but they did drop out of school, and they had the same risk factors. However, so we started just as that loosely knit collaborative. It became formalized in 1996 with the support of Zell Miller, and then in 1998, the county hired a paid coordinator, and since that time, we've been operating using Kids Count data in a partnership with the Annie E. Casey Foundation, working with data to provide local needs and local initiatives that address our local needs. We have, although we've changed how we've operated, we've always focused on facilitating planning that addresses our local issues. So what we do now is we look at a number of issues, from children ready to start school, children succeeding in school, strong families, healthy children, stable, self-sufficient families. And we have just scores of data on all of that, and it supports the development of issues. In 2000, we determined that we had a huge issue with adult illiteracy. 49% of our community could not read or write above a 4th grade level. So we started individual mission statements that addressed individual needs, such as child abuse and neglect, tobacco prevention, adjudicated youth and their families, and adult literacy. Later, more support was given to pre-literate activities for parents with infants and toddlers, because we found, particularly in low-income populations, that we could, if you could get a child to school ready to learn with those kind of community supports, that they would fare better as they went through school. So we always had a catalyst that changed how we operated. And just as we were identified as the fastest growing county in the state of Georgia and the 12th fastest county in the nation in 2007, in 2008, the Newton County was hit by the recession. And in 2010, Newton was identified as the 10th most stressed county in the nation. All of our county resources were overburdened, and the county lost more than 1/3 of its nonprofit support system. The partnership remained stable. However, no new issues or programming could be considered at that time. And you should also be aware that our child population in Newton grew 7 times faster, greater than that of the entire state of Georgia in those years. So we also know that because we've started facilitating planning, started by the leaders of this community, which was the superintendent, the chairman of the county, the mayor of the city, the directors of the mental health and the public health, all got together to identify the partnership as the organization that could facilitate planning. We have changed, and we started focusing more on programming. Once again, we want to turn that planning to engage the leaders to B, to develop the community vision that will gather this community around the overarching issue of poverty, which is what's threatening us. And there's a great statement from Paul Tuff, who wrote on the Harlem Children's Zone, which is, increasing the school success of children in poverty is essential to our collective social and economic future. Too many community organizations feel the children they serve leave too early or arrive too late. To help kids compete, we need a cocoon of support, educational, emotional, medical, which embraces them soon after birth and follows them through graduation. This proactive, data-driven, multi-agency, whole community alternative safety net is what we're now seeking to create. And just as poverty is the biggest barrier that affects our school success, the Board of Education is not called upon to fix this alone. It's a community problem. And we know that in order to move benchmarks, we have to move from just simply addressing the issue of adult literacy with one person and child abuse and neglect with another. We have to focus an entire wraparound system of supports around a community of need. And as this organization is charged by the county and the state to facilitate community development, we are shifting partnership focus to build strategies that make greater short-term improvements, but also long-term social change. We've seen this in the work that we've done with health, and we're hoping to replicate it with the greater issue of school success and workforce development. And to this end, we've partnered with Energima, which is a workforce development group, to and invite the superintendent to join with the city and county leaders, juvenile court, and the chamber to identify community collaborations and strategies that will decrease our achievement gap and increase our qualified workforce. This partnership can refocus the community on collaborative planning that not only benefits our families in need, but positions the partnership and our partner organizations for state and federal funding that promotes a strong, sustainable workforce. And to that end, we've written a grant to the Community Foundation for a $25,000 operating grant so that we can support these leaders in that planning process. This is a short-term grant, and if the group that is working with this agree, we can then apply for future funding to build and sustain strategy teams that support the work. What we're asking from you tonight, I guess, is a signature on a memorandum of understanding as to what your job is very clearly, or the superintendent's job, and also a letter of support for the partnership application for this grant. Do you have questions?
No questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for the work you're doing. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Ms. Burton, and then that action item will be brought forth momentarily about the MOU for the partnership. At this time, we'd like to present Dr. Gary Shattuck and Mr. Chad Walker. They're going to share with us some information about desktops for evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ms. Ferry, Madam Chairwoman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. About a year ago, Mr. Woodard and I sat down and tried to hammer out a plan that would provide low-cost computers to our economically deprived students. Through a variety of reasons, this got delayed several different times, and then he left. And when Mr. Walker came in, he and I sort of put it on a fast track, and we've developed a plan we'd like to present to the board this evening.
Great.
So basically, our plan is to take surplus computers that we've surplused in the county and have the students at the Career Academy refurbish them as part of the computer repair pathway, and then use those computers to distribute them to the low-income things. Mr. Walker's going to give you the details. Mr. Walker?
I'll give each one of you one of the applications that we're going to use.
Thank you.
Good evening. We're going to do a kind of a slow rollout. We have our pathway class working on the computers. Right now, our goal And we don't see why there'll be any issue that by December 2nd that we would have 50 computers being able to give out to our students. Our goal is to set up with, to partner with the middle school counselors to get the word out to our community and the students that they see the most need for those computers. We'll have an application process that you see here. And with that, we are asking them to contribute $25 in order for the cost of that computer. And that computer is one computer that will be worked out. We've completely refurbished it. They're getting the LCD monitor, the computer, Vista operating system. Everything is going to be on there. And part of that is a 1-hour mandatory training on the computer. We feel like that if we, not only do we need to be able to give them the computer, but give them the resources of how to use that computer. And this will all be done by our students. Our students are going to develop 3 different training sessions in that hour, and part of that they'll rotate the different families through to make sure that they have all of the information that they need to be successful and to use the computer. One of the goals is before they leave that night that they will actually be able to put that computer together, because we want to make sure that when they get it home, there's not any obstacles of getting it running and working. So they'll have all the cables that they need, and they'll actually demonstrate to us that they have the ability through the training from our students to set it up when they get home. So that is what our plan is. We're going to try to roll out 50, 10 for each middle school, on December 2nd, and then hopefully a minimum is going to be 50 come spring, but our goal is to get more than that as the students get more familiar with the process, and I think the speed will come with the develop of that. And we're also going to, with its first set of $25, we'll be able to offer some money for those students to stay after school to develop and work through more of those. Right now, we're doing it solely through our classes and volunteers after school, but we want to be able to give them some money to where we can produce those and get those out into the community faster.
Very good. Very good. This is awesome. This is great to see this come into fruition. I remember talking about this a while back, Dr. Shattuck. Thank you so much. This is great. And do we have any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. It may be, and I may be overlooking it. As far as being online, how will that be worked out?
Well, we'll give them the computers, but it's up to them to get some internet service at their home. We're not providing them internet service. But the computer will be fully functional as far as being able to access the internet as long as they have internet access.
And the reason I asked that question is because there were, I can't remember which cable company it was, but they were working in partnership with some school districts. So I was just thinking about, since we have charter here, that would be imperative that we maybe have some dialogue with them to see if they can work along with us to provide some internet services for them.
We will try to reach out to Charter. I know last year, the year before, they had a $9.95 internet service. If the families could provide could prove they were getting some subsistence from the government. And so we'll try to follow up and see if that program is still effective.
Right.
I think it is. I remember my kids bringing home and all that paperwork at the beginning of the year. There were 2
Yeah.
or 3 different companies that are
Right.
offering free or reduced rate internet service.
And if we could, I was gonna suggest maybe you guys can talk about it when they have the 1-hour meeting, whatever you
I was gonna
find
say,
out.
if we can get the information, we'll give that information to them that night and get them set up, because with all the cables, as long as they have the service, they can plug it right in and be able
Exactly.
to go.
Exactly. That's great. Great.
We'll definitely do that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
That concludes the CIT report.
Okay. All right, you guys, I need a motion to move item B forward, please.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no opposed. We have no old business. We'll move on to new business. Item A, Mr. Satterfield.
Good evening, members of the board.
Good evening.
Superintendent recommends the approval of the attached agreement between the Newton County School System and the following provider to provide occupational therapy services to students with disabilities in accordance with their IEPs. The school system is required to provide occupational services to students with IEPs, and we provide these through contractual agreements. And this will be funded through the federal IDEA flow-through funds.
Okay, can I have a motion to move item A forward, please?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. Okay, it's open for discussion. Any discussion? No discussion, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Thank you, Mr. Satterfield. Okay, item B, Dr. Lockhart.
Item B is in regards to the presentation Ms. Bertram just shared with us. This is a letter of support and memorandum of understanding. The superintendent recommends the approval of the attached letter of support and memorandum of understanding with the Newton County Community Partnership. Background, the NCCP is organized for a grant opportunity that requires local agencies to collaborate to develop a strategy to strengthen school success and workforce preparation. NCCP will complete the grant application and submit it to the Community Foundation of Greater Atlanta in hopes of obtaining Phase 1 funds in the amount of $25,000. The term of the grant is 6 months, and the funds will be utilized to establish a steering committee that will work to create a strategic plan. Once the work is completed for Phase 1, NCCP will apply for the remaining funds to help facilitate the work of the partnership.
Okay, I need a motion to move item B forward.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item C, Ms. Sams? No? Okay, Mr. Barr.
It's all planned.
Is all clean? Okay.
In item C, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contract for services for the 21st Century Community Learning Center program be awarded to the Washington Street Community Center of Covington, Georgia. The contract is for the current 2014-15 school year. In FY15, the school system was awarded a new 21st Century new CCLC grant by the State of Georgia Department of Education, which received board approval in September 2014. The Washington Street Community Center was written into the grant proposal and approved by the state administrators as one of the program sites. The estimated contract value is $40,000. That concludes item C.
Okay, I need a motion to move item C forward, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay.
Well, either way.
Okay, it's been moved by Ms. Coggins, second by Mr. Metters. Okay, the floor is now open for discussion. Any discussion or questions regarding item C? I'm just gonna go ahead and say, before I call for the question, I'm gonna recuse myself from voting on this due to the fact that I'm a volunteer tutor over at Washington Street Community Center. So if that can just be noted. Okay, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item D through G, Ms. Lumens?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Item D, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contract awarded to CMC Lawn Maintenance Incorporated of Covington, Georgia for the care and maintenance of school system grounds be renewed for an additional contract period. The background information is the contract was originally awarded on October 19th, 2010. The vendor has met all contractual requirements. Their performance has been exemplary, and they have agreed to continue their service under the current contract terms and conditions. The pricing is based on the same formula used in the original contract, which factors in acreage, playground and landscaping, mulch, trimming, and edging, as well as chemicals, fuel, and labor. The estimated contract value is $357,374.64. This cost will be paid with budgeted FY15 general funds.
Okay, you can go ahead to the next item. I'm gonna take one vote on all
Okay.
of them.
Item E, the superintendent recommends the replacement gymnasium floors needed for the school system be purchased from CBA Sports of Norcross, Georgia. Background information that during an evaluation of facilities, 6 elementary school gymnasiums were identified in need of replacement flooring. After researching options available in the market, Sports court flooring, that's kind of hard to say for some reason, was identified as the best solution. Sport court flooring is a polypropylene surface that is resistant to moisture, more resistant to fungus, bacteria, and other germ-carrying organisms than the carpet flooring currently in use, and can be easily maintained with our existing custodial equipment. As part of the evaluation process, administrators as well as physical education teachers at the selected schools were able to view an actual demo of the floor. The school system will utilize a competitively bid contract managed by the National Joint Powers Alliance, a national purchasing cooperative, to purchase the gym floors. The schools and pricing are provided in the chart in the memo. The cost will be paid for with the budgeted FY15 capital funds.
Okay.
Item F, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contract awarded to Banner Security Systems of Conyers, Georgia for the maintenance of the school system's intrusion detection system be renewed for an additional contract period. Banner Security Systems provides a maintenance contract for all of the components of the intrusion detection system used at all the schools and facilities within the school system. The vendor provides regular inspections, repair, and replacement of the equipment, including CCTV camera systems, as well as equipment upgrades as required. They handle any necessary code changes and provide daily open and close reports for each school. The total cost will be $77,502.76. This cost will be paid for with budgeted FY15 general funds. And finally, item G, the superintendent recommends the adoption of a resolution recognizing the week of October 13th through 17, 2014 as National School Lunch Week. This National School Lunch Program has served our nation for over 60 years through advanced practices and nutrition education. The school lunch program is dedicated to the health and well-being of our nation's children. This concludes item G.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to move items D through G4, please?
So moved.
Oh, excuse me, I have a question on one, just comment.
We have to move it forward
Okay,
before
sorry.
I open for discussion. That's fine.
A second.
Okay, been moved and properly second. The floor is now open for discussion. Mr. Johnson?
The remaining schools, any feel for what the schools that was not named in the replacement here as to what their condition of the floor may be?
We have prioritized all of the schools that need a replacement flooring, and as soon as we have additional SPOS funding, we'll move forward to replace additional school gym floors.
Thank you.
So they were put in a priority ranking.
Thank you.
I have one question as it relates to the security cameras. Have we done an assessment to look at camera locations to see if they could possibly be placed in a more strategic location based on some incidents that we've had in the past?
When principals request it, we look at cameras, and we've moved cameras. We're working with several schools now to upgrade cameras. That will be an agenda item in the coming months.
Great.
To talk about some additional cameras at some schools.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Loomis. Mr. Barr, H through L?
Not to be outdone by school nutrition. In item H, the superintendent recommends the adoption of a resolution recognizing the week of October 20th through 24th, 2014 as School Bus Safety Week. As background information, according to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, school buses are by far the safest mode of transportation to and from school for students. Keeping school buses safe is dependent upon school bus driver training, student safety education, and public awareness. Accordingly, school transportation and safety advocates throughout Georgia and the nation are using the week of October 20th through 24th, 2014 to recognize the importance of school bus safety. And that concludes item H.
Okay, you can move forward with the next item. I'll do them all at once.
Okay. Item I, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contract for print management services be awarded to Rico USA Incorporated of Malvern, Pennsylvania. The effective date will be October 30, 2014, and the expiration date will be October 29, 2015. The cost during FY '15 is $78,662.14. The total estimated annual contract value is $107,462.68. This cost will be paid for with a combination of budgeted FY '15 general and capital funds. And that concludes item I.
Okay.
In item J, the superintendent recommends the school system purchase 2 54-passenger buses and 1 72-passenger bus from Peach State Freightliner of Jefferson, Georgia. The Georgia Department of Education and the Georgia State Financing and Investment Commission developed a bond program to provide reimbursements for local school systems for the purchase of new buses. Based on the state's allocation, the school system has been allotted a maximum reimbursement of $231,660 for 3 new school buses. The school system will use budgeted FY '15 capital funds to cover the remaining cost of the buses. The goal here is to purchase the highest performing vehicle with the lowest overall cost of ownership, and that process is ongoing. This does not close the door to another vendor. We will continue to evaluate that, the buses available in the marketplace, to make certain that we are considering the total cost of ownership in those purchases. And that concludes item J. In item K, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contract awarded to McPherson Companies Incorporated of Atlanta, Georgia, for the utilization of a fuel card system for the Student Transportation Department be awarded for an additional term. The effective date of the renewal will be October 23, 2014, and the expiration date will be October 22, 2015. As background and summary, the fuel card system is providing the following benefits to the school system: a more efficient fueling system, a reduction in extended drive time and overtime costs for drivers related to refueling, a reduction in the number of gallons used and thus fuel cost, real-time data generated instantly and viewable online for both driver and vehicle, and better fueling options for buses on extended field trips. The estimated contract value is $865,820. The cost will be paid for with budgeted FY '15 general funds. And in item L, the superintendent recommends certain identified items be declared surplus and disposed of per board policy DO. The items for your consideration this evening are from the BOE administrative offices, Cousins Middle School, Indian Creek Middle School, Veterans Memorial Middle School, East Newton, Fairview, Livingston, Middle Ridge, and Oak Hill Elementary Schools. And that concludes item L.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to move items H through L forward, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay, been moved and properly second. I'll call for discussion. Any discussion on any of these items? No discussion. I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Barr.
Yes, ma'am.
Superintendent's report, Dr. Lockhart.
Item M, personnel recommendations. Superintendent requests that the board approve the personnel recommendations made during the executive session.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion for item M, please.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Lockhart.
Yes, ma'am.
Other matters of interest, Superintendent Fury?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a few items to mention. I'd like to start off with one that's really exciting news for the Newton County school system and Alcovey High School specifically. Mei Zhang, who is our library media specialist at Alcovey High School, has been selected by the Georgia Library Media Association and the Georgia Association of Instructional Technology as the Library Media Specialist of the Year for the South Metro District.
She's awesome.
Just for more information, the Library Media Specialist of the Year award is awarded to someone who has demonstrated individual excellence in the library media field through service to students, teachers, and the community at the K-12 levels. All district winners will be recognized at a conference held in Atlanta November 5th through the 7th, and May will be honored at the Library Media Specialist of the Year Awards Luncheon on November the 7th at a statewide Georgia Library Media Specialist of the Year. At that meeting, they will announce the statewide winner at the luncheon. So we're very excited, and we congratulate both Alcovey High School. We're proud for our school system and especially proud of May. Just a couple of items of information relative to our, one being the Teacher of the Year reception will be held at Newton High School at 4:30 on October the 16th, which is Thursday. Thursday, yeah, Thursday. I keep thinking today's the 15th for some reason. And then, of course, we have fall break that begins on October the 20th, that's next week. And on November the 11th, November the 4th, we will have a college and career awareness day for the entire school system. So all of you who are employed by the school system are encouraged to wear your college gear or your career wear so that we can represent to our kids the many choices that they have beyond high school, whether it is entry into a college or university or a technical school or entry right into the career field. So those are my matters of interest, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other matters of interest? None? May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.